In the past year, there has been a lot of talk about AI video. Some people think that it's the best, others think it is the end of times, but what is really true? How is this going to be helpful, especially for small businesses, agencies, and other creative teams? So let's break down what is helpful, what is not, and what is total BS about AI video. Before we do that, let's talk about what needs to be fixed and the concerns that people have. Well, if people can tell this is AI, will they even like it? And that is totally valid for now. Because we're already seeing so much of this type of content and people are getting used to it, for better or for worse, what is really more important is to stand out with good ideas. Listen, the quality is going to get so good that people are not even going to be able to tell, wait, am I AI? Maybe this whole video is AI. If what is being made is actually valuable, then the audience isn't really going to care what was used to create it. But if you just take whatever it says and put it out into the world, then yeah, it's not going to be very good. Now, what is helpful about these AI videos? Everyone tells you to personalize your outreach and your messaging, but nobody shows you how to do it at scale with video tools. This is one of the most powerful places that AI video can work right now for agencies and businesses. If you personalize your outbound messages, then your audience is way more likely to respond. So if you pair that with an engaging story, you are in a really good space for personalizing. For example, there's a ton of personalizing when it comes to emails, and so the risk is that can fall flat as soon as people get used to it. But a video is more engaging. If you have good information about who you're talking about and you combine that with a repeatable video outreach system, your messages can become way more effective because the viewer thinks, hey, this was made for me. A great place to start is to have a library of video templates that you don't have to reinvent every time. This can be explainer videos, demos, sales letters, follow-up messages, and even thought leadership. And they're all designed like Mad Libs. Because it is so accessible to swap out images as well as voiceover, it's entirely doable, and I'll be showing you how to build that out in another video that you can find on my page. To give you an idea, for each of these, you can write them in a way where you swap out 3 or 4 elements depending on who you're talking to and variables like industry, customer, and the specific problem that they're facing. And what you should do is also design them around what stage of the conversation that they're in, from introductions to sending them roles. When this is done well, it feels personal without being a giant time sink and without the receiver wanting to punch a hole in their laptop. A year ago, this would have been a bad idea to make with AI video, but now is one of the best use cases, and that is training, internal education, and L&D. These tools, especially the talking head types, are really useful for training and educational materials. Now, until recently, the uncanny valley was pretty aggressive and boring. What I mean by uncanny valley, when something looks almost human, but not quite, and ends up just looking really creepy. If you've ever seen the Polar Express, that's kind of what I mean. But now, for companies that need to do a lot of training and don't have a lot of people who are comfortable on camera, it is even more helpful. Now, I'm generally not a fan of DIY AI video tools just because most people don't know how to use them, no offense, but this is a place where it's super helpful and super easy. You can also find my recommended tools below. Where I wouldn't use these talking head AI video tools is in content creation because I'm not sure we're that out of the uncanny valley yet. Now, did you know that when ChatGPT looks up information about a brand, it is also looking at YouTube? This is part of the evolution of SEO, AEO, or answer engine optimization if we want to sound fancy about it. Search is not just about Google anymore. So if there's a good deal of content that you already have, like in written format through blogs, it becomes pretty useful to start making YouTube videos. Now, how do you get it to work quickly if, let's say, you need a lot of them? If you have a big library of blogs that need to be repurposed, that could become a whole data set that you train an AI project on and use for scripts. So let me starting with the end in mind. That means structuring each script and video the right way, answering popular questions first, using chapters and timestamps to organize your information, and definitely making sure to include all of that metadata like the description. Once you have the scripts written, I recommend using Google VO's model and Google Flow because that visualizes it really well to put together short videos and answer the questions that people are looking for. You can even ask another model to come up with visual prompts that match your brand style, and make sure to save that for consistency. Stay on message across all of these videos so that the AI can understand what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're talking about. There has never been a better time to have a weird commercial idea. More ideas should make it out into the world, and AI video really shifts access to this kind of work. This is going to be super important for agencies, small businesses that want to raise the bar, or really creative people with an awesome idea. With one big catch. To date, video advertising and filmmaking has been so expensive that only a few ideas ever really got made from those who most likely already had access. But now you can test 5 or 10 or 20 ideas for what one of these used to cost. We are already seeing companies do this at scale, for some reason with a lot of talking animals. This applies to funny ads and emotional ones and testimonials, and product videos, all of it, and I am so excited by it. But here's the catch. Because it's easier to make content, the bar is rising. So what people consider good or bad is shifting. One example is animated ChatGPT images. There's something specific about the lines and like a yellowish tint to them, and over time, people are just going to see these as cheap. Another is all of the Disney Pixar ripoffs that are out there. In order for this to work, you really need creative people behind the wheel, and I'm sorry, but they're not on Fiverr. What do I believe will happen in the future? Let's start with hyper-personalized ads. Soon, the dog in that Purina ad is gonna look a lot like your dog. That's because what I think is coming with the advent of AI video is hyper-personalized ads. I think that these are going to be everywhere, and that they will be tested, refined, and packaged. Advertisers are going to be able to take the same ad and swap it out with hundreds of different types of actors, and they will cast a group of people just for you that will be in most of your ads because they know you respond to those the most. That imaginary person you find most beautiful that you always want to see in your ads that might look suspiciously like you, yeah, they're going to be in a lot of ads. Listen, being on camera is stressful. Not everyone likes to do it. I'm sweating a little bit right now. But soon, people who want to make content but don't want to be on camera won't ever have to be. Instead, just have your digital twin do it. This will work for content creation, personal brands, personalized outbound, but on steroids. So every rep can send follow-up videos that feel personal and friendly and warm, but it's all AI and you can't really tell. We're having brands with full AI spokespeople on their accounts for any number of reasons. These are basically mascots that are going to be made after a ton of testing to make sure that they're the right one that's resonating the most, deployed everywhere. The thing is that the same principles of strategy and scripting still apply and are really, really important. The clearest message and the most memorable way of delivering it is still going to win. Next, and this is definitely the trippiest one, is experiential world models, an important piece for us to get right before AGI. You are already seeing some people on TikTok make videos about this that are like stepping into worlds that you see in like a kid's carpet, stuff like that. Weirdly enough, that seems like the kind of thing that would have worked really well with the metaverse if that didn't turn into a whole disaster. With this technology, we will be able to build and curate whole interactive experiences that you can enter in or just make more content in. I can see these being really, really useful for safety training, like compliance scenarios. There will be a ton of interesting use cases for this for sure. Now, what about AI video is hype? Because there's a lot of that to go around. So first, there is no magic prompt. That means that the idea that you can just prompt something and you get like an amazing output out of it, I don't believe is ever really going to happen, at least for this kind of video work I'm talking about. Whether you're a tech bro who is crushing every artist or an artist that is ready to just go full Sarah Connor, I don't think the Terminator is ever going to make great work. Why? Because unless something changes, you have to prompt these tools. There's no way around it. Everything depends on the input. So A, you have to know what to prompt. That is essential. And B, you have to know what to look for. And that only comes from experience. If you don't believe me, just ask ChatGPT to make you the greatest movie in the world and tell me if you have 2 hours for that. Creative people are not going to go extinct because of AI. And I say that as someone who went to film school. It's not just the tech bros who believe they will either. Filmmakers and visual artists are getting real sweaty and also believe that, which is why a lot of comment sections are full of pitchforks and torches. Again, knowing what to make and what to pick requires a lot of practice in a particular field. And I think that this will continue to be true even with AGI. Talent doesn't disappear because there are new tools. Now, related to that, from the mobs of visual creatives, is that AI video will only ever be slop, and I don't think that is true either. The problem is that every Joe Schmo with Nano Banana is like way outnumbering the people who would make amazing work. That's why I bet that in a year or two, you're going to see some amazing stuff from filmmakers and AI production teams who learn how to use these tools and will 100% stand out against every other vaguely Disney Pixar related Mayo ad. And even if it isn't amazing yet, it will be popular. How do I know? Because it's already happening. Look at music. AI generated music is going viral and getting on the Billboard charts, and it is only a matter of time before that happens for all of entertainment. For more breakdowns about how to use these tools and to stay up to date and access all the ideas that you could never make before for your mission, for your business, or just for fun, make sure to subscribe because more of your ideas should make it out into the world.